One realization that changed my entire life is that people don't have business problems, they have personal problems that manifest into their businesses. And if someone isn't committed to their business, you can bet they aren't going to be committed to their morning routine, their workout routine, their diet, or any of their daily habits. And if you have a messy car, you probably have a messy business. If you have an unhealthy body, you probably have an unhealthy business. And since I work from home, what I've noticed is that sometimes I get into the bad habit of not showering when I first wake up, taking forever to get out of bed, not getting dressed. I got lazy, and that laziness showed up in my business too. And to change this, like always, I gamified it using a strategy that I like to call the rule of opposites. So I chose to dress up in a suit one day and I felt and looked sharper, right? I brushed my teeth, took a shower, put on deodorant, cleaned the house, and I felt amazing, and my business reflected that. And so even when you achieve success, you still need to discipline yourself. You need to make sure that you actually show up to work like it's serious. You have to treat it seriously, and when you take your life seriously, that will reflect in your business and you'll see tremendous success. Because the people who refuse to change anything about themselves or about their mindset or about their worldview, and they just want to make a few more dollars per month, they're never going to get life-altering results. The people who are open-minded about making improvements and focus on their mindset rather than the money, they are the ones who end up making the most money. And some of the most successful people on earth will admit they made who they are today. Tony Robbins often says that he wasn't born Tony Robbins. It's not who he is. It's not his roots. It's not him just being himself. He made Tony Robbins incrementally over time through self-reflection and careful analysis and consistent effort. Becoming truly great requires consistent incremental effort. And Michael Jordan wasn't just born with a basketball in his hands and, the best player on earth. He had to evolve and grow into that. In fact, he was actually cut from his varsity team in high school. Think about what that would have done to most people. They probably would have given up. Well, basketball isn't for me. Time to move on to the next shiny object or business idea. Most people told him that he'd never be good, and he still did it, right? And we've come to believe that we are something. The reality is, everybody's born the same way. We're all born the same way as helpless babies, and the skills and everything that we acquire, we have to go out there and get them no matter what anyone else says or thinks. And in order to be equipped to achieve success and to achieve the dreams we want, we have to learn to cut through the noise. And in today's day and age, this is more important than ever with, constant distractions like Facebook, Instagram, Netflix, Twitter, Reddit, and the list goes on. And the way I like to cut through that noise is something I like to call LTD, or Little Task Devil. And it's a concept that's very, very important to understand. The Little Task Devil will try as hard as he possibly can to distract you from this course and from making real progress as an entrepreneur and as a person. And the Little Task Devil comes in many forms, like homework, your 9-to-5 job, other work, your clients or other businesses, other courses, other mentors, gurus, things that you know are distracting you from this course, which you should know by now has the craziest and most numerous student success stories for a reason. These tasks that you know aren't as important still end up taking up most of your time. And the way you combat that is by understanding and recognizing and being aware of the Little Task Devil and making sure that he doesn't control your life. And when little tasks come your way, like emails or phone calls or scheduling someone to fix your AC, dedicate all of them to one day if you can't avoid them and knock them out. You can't constantly allow yourself to be interrupted with your deep work time that you're spending on this course. And the Little Task Devil will try as hard as he can to distract you from the highest possible return on investment for your time. So be aware of him, and if you're aware of him, it's the first step of keeping him under control. And the way I like to do this is starting off my workday with my most important task. You've probably never done keyword research, creating a video script, doing thumbnails, and because you've never done those things, you're nervous or you're feeling overwhelmed, and because you've never done it, it literally requires forming new neural pathways in your brain to start, which is why it's hard. And because it's hard, that's why you procrastinate doing it. But when you're self-aware about these things, then you can nip those bad habits and you can defeat the Little Task Devil. So get in the habit of starting your day with the most important tasks. Right? Don't let yourself get lost in the details. Block out entire days to work on specific tasks and don't multitask. No one's good at multitasking. It's not possible. Learn how to single task And the way you can really achieve deep work and focus is to fall in love with the process of learning new things. And Steve Jobs once said, your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And the way to achieve results is not to focus on it, it's to focus on the process that generates the results. So go dark, get things done. And if you have a deadline or something big that you want to deliver on, remove yourself from the world. Stay inside, turn off your phone, don't touch email or social media. Don't come back to reality until the project is done, because where you are in life right now, physically, financially, mentally, it's how you designed it. You and only you are responsible for where you are in life right now. No one else. Where you're at right now, how much money is in your bank account, the shape that you're in, the state of everything that you have, everything is because of you and because of only you and the choices that you've made and because of the habits you've formed in your life. And I'm not here to console you and tell you that everything's going to be perfect and all right and that an 8th place ribbon and a 1st place ribbon are the same and they deserve the same praise, because the truth is they don't, right? I'm here to give you the mindset and the tactical tools to become a winner and to revolutionize not only your business, but your life and your fulfillment and your happiness. Because members of this course are winners. Even if they weren't in the past, they now make a commitment to themselves and to the rest of our private family group and to me that they're going to evolve into the next version of themselves and create a reality that they want. And I think of it like a video game. You're choosing to play the next level of life. And the next level is harder. It's not comfortable, it's not easier, and you can't expect level 2 to be as easy as level 1, otherwise it wouldn't be any fun. We're going to go to level 2, level 3, level 4, but to do that, you're going to face resistance. You're going to have to leave your comfort zone, and you're going to come out on the other side as a stronger, happier, more fulfilled human than you ever have been before. So don't drown in tools and software and the next shiny object or some guru or some other course, right? Don't guru hop. They're not going to give you any other better strategies or tactics. Trust me, I know. I've taken every course, I've tried every online business that exists, and none of them are even close to what you have in front of you right now. But again, this all starts with mindset. And let me illustrate this with an example of something I call the law of comparison. Because the only way the human brain can understand anything is via comparison. And let me explain. You wouldn't know what cold felt like unless you felt warm. You wouldn't know what happiness felt like if you never felt sadness. Because if you're only happy your entire life, it would be the only mind state that you would ever experience. And it would be your entire reality. If you lived in a cave in complete darkness your entire life, you wouldn't know it as darkness. You'd only know darkness, right? There'd be no relativism or comparison with light. It would simply be. And an exercise that helped me when I was first starting to become successful was I associated my past and all of my past decisions and everything that happened to me up until that point was darkness, but with a real tangible thing that I could picture in my mind when I closed my eyes and imagined. The way I existed in my past made it impossible for me to achieve my dreams. That's just a fact, right? Who I was when I was working my 9 to 5 flat out was not capable of achieving my dreams. My mindset, my worldview, my daily habits, it wasn't possible. I really was a corporate drone, right? Society had beaten me down into compliance and believing the status quo and being a worker. And to achieve my dreams, I had to transform my daily habits and who I was, my mentality, my self-belief, my confidence, and my worldview to become someone entirely new. And it's a difficult but necessary step to accept and take ownership of the fact that who you are right now may not be capable of achieving your dreams. And it was one of the most difficult things I'd ever done to accept that, but it was also one of the greatest realizations of my life, that you have to evolve and become a better version of yourself to achieve your dreams. And that means facing the darkness of your past and use that to define and intentionally move towards the metaphorical light, which is achieving your wildest dreams. Because when you do that, that is when you really understand that you can do anything. It's just a decision. It's already done. At that point, the decision is made. Changing your daily habits is how you change your future and become your better self. And quite often, the best way to change your habits is what I like to call the rule of opposites. Because it breaks you out of your subconscious autopilot where you go about your day sometimes without even realizing what you're doing and how pre-programmed all of us as humans are. Right? Have you ever just walked around your house and you forgot where you're going or how you got there or what you were even doing? That's your subconscious. That's autopilot. And I want you to do something right now so I can really illustrate this for you. Take out your phone, right? Take it out right now and choose whatever app you use most often. Maybe it's Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, whatever. I want you to move it to a different place on your screen, right? Take the app and move it to a different spot. If it's on the first page of your phone, put it on the third page. If it's at the top of the screen, move it to the bottom right. Now start to take note of how much mental energy it is to open it comparatively to what it was before. And the reason is, it's more mental energy after you move it to find it and open it, because you've literally formed neural pathways and have habituated where it is on your phone screen. And the same thing true holds for, going to the gym, going to work. How often do you honestly take different paths to work? You probably drive the same way every single day, right? Or you walk the same path, or you take, bike the same path to work. Most people take the exact same path to work every single morning because it's literally scientifically easier from a brain functionality perspective. It requires less brain power to take the same path. And the rule of opposites breaks you out of that autopilot and allows you to make significant changes in your life. If you've always had a messy office, clean it up, right? If you've always been an extrovert, do something quiet and reflective, and do it today. Go drive to the beach if you live near one, or go to a forest, or go to a bar, or go to a movie by yourself. Because extroverts that always want to be social, they never get any time to quietly reflect and think about what the essence of their work is and what they actually want out of life. And then a lot of people who are introverted and really understand their work and themselves, they need to be more extroverted so that they can go out and communicate with other people on what this masterpiece really is and what they've got. And upon breaking into the rule of opposites and breaking out of the daily autopilot that we all have, you can sometimes learn more about yourself in a few days of doing the opposite of what you're used to doing than you can in years letting your subconscious mind dictate your daily actions. And this course has two parts, mental and tactical, right? I've never met anyone who's achieved real amazing results without treating both sides equally, right? You need to apply the tactics as well as reprogram your mind. You can't have one without the other. You can't just come in and purely rely on the tactics and expect success. And when I first got started, I was so much less sophisticated than where you are right now. And I can guarantee that. I had little to no proof that this even worked. I had no mentor. All I had was belief in myself and my abilities and data. The only guide I had was looking at other YouTube channels and what they were doing. And the only difference between me and someone who failed at this and went back to their job is that I stuck to it, and I had a really good mechanism and process for going through things, for figuring out why, something wasn't working, if something was right or wrong, and for constantly improving myself through self-reflection and through analysis of what worked and what didn't. Because you shouldn't doubt the program, right? You shouldn't doubt the course. We have evidence to back that up. And you shouldn't doubt yourself, because we also have evidence to back that up too. We've transformed people from 9-to-5 jobs making 40 grand a year to 40 grand in a month or more. And if you don't believe me, go to my Instagram page. You can see everything there. Because your friends and family and society and everyone around you have only seen you as you are now. They only know you as you exist right now. And so if you tell them that you want to do something amazing, they're going to doubt you. They're going to try and pull you back down at their level. And you shouldn't think that your first video has to be perfect. You shouldn't think that any of this process has to be perfect. You just need to get something out there and make iterations as you continue to upload new videos. And it doesn't mean to be irrational or rush through things. Of course, you want to do your due diligence, but you have to do something. And I want you to make a commitment to me and your fellow private family group members, and most importantly to yourself. You can have financial freedom or you can have excuses, but you can't have both. And this course is not only about becoming financially free, it's about growing as a person yourself. And a very important part of that is what I like to call continuous improvement. There will be times in this program where you feel overwhelmed or over your head, or it's just too much tech involved. And if it was easy, everyone would be, making $462,000 in a month, right? Why wouldn't they if it was so easy? But it's not easy, but you shouldn't be afraid of that, right? What continuous improvement means is that each day you get just a little bit better. The point is, never let yourself have 0 days. Never let yourself do nothing, right? You always have to do something, and incremental gains of doing even just something, 1 minute of work, learning, getting better, even slightly every single day will completely change your life. And it might not happen overnight, but it will happen. And to be successful with YouTube, you have to be an unstoppable, well-oiled learning machine. If you aren't planning on posting a new video the next day, then do some keyword research. Do something that will help you progress to the next level. Every day you need to be learning something new, right? Learn something about YouTube to help your channel, analyze analytics, research new ideas, do something. And if you're stuck at any stage or you're doubting yourself, just know that that's natural, right? But learn to be reflective, stop and say to yourself, what's the question that I need to answer? How can I ask a question to get over my doubts and fear? Because when I was first starting 7-8 years ago, I was working on things and I couldn't see the reward right away. There was no instant gratification that we're all so used to. I remember thinking, man, I'm doing all this work. I see all these other channels having success with this, so I know I can do it, but I'm just still not seeing results. All right, and 3 years ago, I started up a cash cow channel to add to my empire, but for some reason, it just wasn't working, right? I was doing everything that I had done on my other ones, but it wasn't working, right? I poured over $13,000 into content creation, had only made $400 up until that point. I was actually planning on shutting the whole thing down if it didn't take off within a few months. And I can't even make this up. The next video I uploaded after saying that to myself, after saying that I'm just going to shut it down if it doesn't work in a few months, the next video I posted caused the channel to absolutely explode and break the record of my highest day yet. Right, over $20,000 in a single day. And that day alone, that single day, more than compensated for the past year of expenses for the videos. And remember, right, you're always just one video away. And while we're here, take out your phone right now and take a picture of your page right now. Right, get this and also get my AdSense balance right here as well. If I would have given up here, this wouldn't be happening today, right? I would not be getting $300,000 deposits into my bank account every single month. It wouldn't be happening if I would have quit. So take a picture of this, right? Take a picture of your page, and every single time that you're ever questioning if this stuff works or if you should quit and move on to the next guru, come back and look at that picture, right? Because I was literally about to give up right here. Right, I went on to make $20,000 in a day from that one channel that I was going to give up on. Right, and a few months later, I was thinking, oh my gosh, where's all this money coming from? And what I realized is that all the incremental effort and compound interest of my incremental daily actions over the past few months were starting to come back to me. And what people don't understand is that success is an exponential growth curve. And there's massive truth behind this, right? Growth on YouTube does not go straight up, right? It's so painfully slow at first. But once you break through and once you keep pushing through, it shoots up like an actual rocket ship. And I'm not joking because this happens to everyone. It happens to every single channel that I start. It happens to my students as well, right? One of my students, he started a channel and he stopped posting on it because he thought it was going nowhere. Well, 3 months later, boom, absolutely exploded because the growth curve is not linear, it's exponential. We take action now, we might get some effect, but the effect grows exponentially, not linear. And this is why most people never achieve real success. People start a journey and they don't see the effect of their work, so they give up and they quit before the point where they actually reach all that compound interest of their incremental daily efforts. And remember this quote because it's so important. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. And modern day society has made entrepreneurship and starting your own business out to be some massive gamble where only 1% of people are lucky enough to become successful. And anyone, anywhere who makes a lot of money, they're just lucky, right? It was just some fluke. Anyone who has a Lamborghini rents it, mansions are rented, it's all a facade. And most people think that my success is attributed to luck because I'm privileged or something, or if I was given a trust fund from my family, but it's not true at all, right? People who are successful, it's not because of luck. I actually don't think there's anything called luck or chance. There is dedicated focus on the right thing, and then there's everything else. Luck is simply being focused on the right thing and being in the race. Because you can't win first place in a race if you don't even enter it. And what most people don't understand is that even if someone does understand cause and effect, right? Take action, get results. They don't understand the exponential compounding effect of time. And let me explain. If you exercise once today, you don't know what effect that's going to have on you in, 5 or 10 years, because we tend to look at things as only today. We say things like, oh, well, if I go to the gym today, I'm not going to look that much different today. But how do we know what effect that one decision to start exercising today is going to have on us in 5 years? Right? Time compounds incremental daily actions exponentially, and it's so critical to understand that. The one decision I made to go all in with YouTube, I doubted myself, and I thought, maybe this isn't the right decision. Everyone in my family thought I was crazy. That one decision I made at that point in time, if we were to look at its effect, if that was the cause, and today we're looking at the effect, it's hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit being consistently deposited into my bank account every single month, right? That's massive. But if you asked me the day that I decided to go all in, I would have told you that I was nervous, right? I was worried. I didn't feel right. Everyone around me said I was crazy, that I was making the wrong decision. And you have something invaluable that I didn't have. Hard evidence that this works. Not only for me, but for all of the family members inside of our private group, everyone on my Instagram page who doesn't have Facebook, right? You have a mentor who cares about you, who's proven that it works, to answer your questions, to give you help, to show you the way of a proven blueprint. When I was starting, I had nothing but blind faith in myself and a burning desire to be better, right? Everything in this life is cause and effect, and it's compounded exponentially over time. When you're taking action every day, when you choose to put an hour into your business today, or when you choose to do this training today, or participate in the private family Facebook group today, when you choose to do any of those actions, you have to consider its long-term effect, right? If you just make one small little move today, I can't even tell you how life-changing the effect is in your future, right? It's bigger than you can possibly imagine. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will your YouTube empire. It's the compounding exponential effect of daily effort, no matter how small. And there's a parable from ancient India about blind men and an elephant. And it's a story about a group of blind men who had never come across an elephant before in their life. And they learned to conceptualize what the elephant was like by just touching it. But each blind man feels a different part of the elephant's body, like the tusks or the side. And they describe the elephant based on their limited experience, and their descriptions of what the elephant was like are wildly different from each other. And this parable implies that one's subjective experience can be true, but that such experience is inherently limited by its failure to account for other truths or a totality of truth. And let me explain what I mean by that, because that's a lot. What this illustrates is how you believe things to be true is subjective. It's relative. There is no absolute truth. It's only your truth, right? It's only your perception of reality. Because we as people tend to believe that everyone thinks the same way as we do, right? We think that if we think something, then everyone else thinks the same thing. Or if we believe in something, then everyone else believes that. Successful people see, think, and believe totally different than people who fail to. And I want to illustrate this with a story as always. When I was working in my cubicle, I was viewed as a massive success in my family, right? They all told me that I was so smart and I was doing so well, right? I grew up in a working class family with hardworking conventional parents who loved and supported me, but thought that the only right path, right, their subjective version of success, was to go to college, get a 9-to-5 job, save for retirement, and fit in. My view of success was to go to college, get a stable job, max out my 401k, because that's what my parents had, led me to believe was success. That was their subjective version of success. And one time, right, I was staying with a friend at his uncle's house, and this guy was loaded, right? He was tennis court, bowling alley in the house, multiple sport cars, and multiple vacation homes wealthy. And so the first time I visited him, it completely changed my entire worldview, right? My paradigm, how I perceive the world, and my subjectivity of what I now consider to be success. Previously, I thought 100K a year, you're rich. 200K a year, you're wealthy, right? That's what I thought success was. I thought that to be wealthy, you had to get a job. And those beliefs, that paradigm, that worldview was embedded in my brain from childhood and growing up in a traditional home. And, don't get me wrong, I love my parents, right? They were very conventional. They were very risk averse because they had to take care of me and my brother, and that's what I grew up believing. And so I arrived at my friend's uncle's massive palace, and my idea of success was instantly shattered, right? My entire worldview of success that I had accumulated and had been raised over years to believe evaporated instantly. Right, my entire life, my dad would follow me around and turn off the TV and the lights and the fan when I left rooms because he wanted to conserve energy when we weren't using it. And of course, right, makes sense not to waste energy, but his uncle had massive light structures and water fountains and all this stuff constantly going on outside. And these things, use huge amounts of energy and were just always on, even throughout the night. And he did that because he wanted to enjoy it. I remember asking him if he just left those things on all night and, didn't that waste a lot of energy? He told me that he's not wasting energy, he's enjoying it. And it was right then that I knew he wasn't a normal person. And by normal, I mean someone who believes that the lights should be turned off whenever you leave a room, or, even if you enjoy having them on. I'd never really met someone like that before. He was different. And since meeting him, something about me had changed too. Right? I began questioning normal things. I began to think, what else do I have wrong here? What else does this guy know that I don't? And I started to think about this, right? It was the first time that I ever really questioned what I was doing in my existence and everything. And so when I got back to work, right, in my cubicle the following Monday, where I used to think that was normal and successful, I was now questioning if this was what I was actually meant for. Right? This couldn't be my destiny. I had been led to believe that a 9-to-5 job and saving for retirement was the definition of success. And that's what I believed up until that point. And you have to realize where you are in life right now is because of no one but you. You have to realize that the thing you're blaming isn't the thing at all, it's you. The voices in your head, the devil, the doubts, the fears, they're all you. They're all in your mind. Everything you think that's someone else's fault, it's actually your fault, right? And one of the most important things to understand early on in any training program is this. And I'm not here to, make everyone feel good. I'm here to help people make massive, earth-shattering, life-altering results. And it's a bold thing for me to say because a lot of people, especially in society, have come to believe that they need to be sympathetic with everyone and listen to their story and acknowledge their story and give them sympathy and say things like, oh, I don't blame you for playing it safe. I would have done the same thing if I was you. You did the right thing. It's hard out there in the real world and it's not your fault. That's what people are saying to the most people, and while that might make you feel better at any given moment in the short term, in the long run, it's only feeding the sympathy addiction, which prolongs the cycle of weakness and which really further separates the rich from the poor. Right? It's only going to make you suffer for longer because all that sympathy, all that's doing is just feeding your addiction. It's feeding the story. This is what people do that, when they blame other people, they then go out looking for sympathy, or they blame other things that's not, if it's not their fault, or they want to be with people who believe it's not their fault. But where you are right now is because of no one but you. It's all your fault, right? If you look around right now, everything that you have, everything you own, the physical shape that you're in, the mental state you're in, how happy you are, the cleanliness of your home, the state of your home, how awesome it is, how much you love it, how much you hate it, your car, how much money you have, how much money you make. All of these things, you did them. It was no one else. No other force was coming in here and influencing it. It was all you. And one of the most important things my mentor ever said to me is everything is your fault, Dylan. Everything is your fault. Right? And just think about that for a second. Everything is your fault as an entrepreneur. And the sooner that you take responsibility and ownership for your problems and for your success, the sooner everything changes. And when you transition from being a victim to being someone who takes ownership of your own life, everything changes because people's lives are exactly how they designed them to be. And I think a lot of people forget this. When you take ownership of your own life, nothing is unachievable. There is no failure, there's only feedback, right? There is no failure, there's only feedback when you take ownership of your own life. And when your worldview and your paradigm changes, you unlock true potential. And part of taking ownership of your life is setting goals, but most people do it frontwards. The only way to set a goal meaningfully is by doing it backward, and let me explain what I mean. I like to plan 1 month from now from the end back to the beginning, because the truth is, you can think about your goals all you want, but they won't happen until you reverse engineer it by working backward and then execute on your daily tasks that go into achieving the results you want. So you create your goal and then you backtrace it from that end goal, right? And then you turn it into daily tasks that will incrementally get you to it. And so you want to think to yourself, what are the next 30 days going to look like for you? Because there's only two ways it can go. And after seeing all the people come through my program, I can honestly say there's one thing that people who go on to have wild success with this have that no one else does. People always ask me, Dylan, what's the difference between your students who go on to change their lives and make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month and the people who don't, right? What's the difference between them? And I've really studied this, and there are a few things that my most successful students share. They don't have a foot in cryptocurrency, 1 foot in their 9-to-5 job, 1 foot in competitive poetry. They commit fully to this course and this course only and nothing else, right? They say, I want to create something meaningful and life-changing. They aren't frazzled, they aren't scattered, right? Their focus is pinpoint laser accurate. They set their mind to it and they get to work. They don't just learn, watch videos, and then drift back on Instagram and Netflix. They do the work and that's it. And the way you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're unaccountable when you wake up in the morning, you'll be unaccountable in your business. If you're always late to work or on your meetings or with your friends or other entrepreneurs, that will happen in your business. And most people are paralyzed regarding who they are based on the past and who they have been, and are actually afraid to make a change or any actions to create the future that they want because their past is dictating their future. And it's a vicious cycle because if you're too paralyzed to do anything, you actually create more of that paralyzation. And so to break this cycle, you gotta break free from the autopilot that your mind feels so comfortable with. Change your mindset, change your daily habits, and change your life, right? And approaching this course as a whole can feel overwhelming for anyone. What you're going to do and learn in a short span in this course normally takes people years, if not decades, to do, and you're special to even be here listening to this right now. And if you're actually going to implement everything and implement all the knowledge contained within this program, you're going to be entering a very rare realm of legacy empire builders. And after watching a ton of people come through the program, what I've learned is that people who succeed approach it with a 1 day at a time mentality, right? 1 day at a time. The point is, don't have 0 days. Always be chipping away. Always be doing something, even if it's just 1 minute. And your emotions, they're going to scream, right? You're going to have to leave your comfort zone. You're going to have to feel fear and discomfort and self-doubt and pain. And understand that it's completely normal, right? It's a completely normal reaction to feel that way when you're working towards creating your dream life, right? And don't think that those emotions mean you should stop. If anything, they mean that you should be doubling down and going harder because you're going after the right thing. But you have to stick with what is taught with extreme discipline. And it might not feel like it's working at first, but even after just a few days or a few weeks of discipline, it becomes a habit. And then all of a sudden, you have hard-working habits consistently being exponentiated over time, making all those daily incremental efforts, right? You want to face your fears head on. You want to stare it in the eyes and you want to defeat it. And once you do, once you do it again and again and again, you want to keep doing it over and over again, right? And you want to start developing extreme self-discipline to do what needs to be done every single day. And if you do that, you'll stick to the plan. And if you stick to the plan, you'll get the results. And Warren Buffett once said, the most dangerous distractions are the ones you love, but don't love you back. And this means Instagram, Snapchat, Reddit, Facebook. Every time that you're using these things, you're making the founders of those apps richer, and you're keeping yourself from your own dreams. And another thing that all of my successful students share is what I like to call the 30-day oath. And what the 30-day oath means is that for the first 30 days after completing the course, you give it everything that you've got. My most successful students normally take a week or two to get through the entire course. Take notes, think things through, they don't rush, but once they learn the material, they take action and they give it everything they've got. The average person, they just dip their toes in and they have a backup plan. They might be planning on refunding if they don't see results overnight. My successful students have burned the bridges. They burned the boats, right? Their backup plans are gone and everything, and are 150% committed in every way, shape, and form humanly possible to succeed. And what's amazing to see is all these people who quit before 30 days, they never end up achieving anything. Because remember, your mindset creates your success, and the same mindset that caused them to give up before 30 days bleeds into every area of their life, causing them to fail there too. And it's really unbelievable to watch how consistently true this is. Remember, people don't have business problems, they have personal problems that manifest into their business. And people who take consistent action for the first 30 days typically continue to take action for the next 30 days and so on. Because they're starting to shatter some of their lazy mind habits, and it dramatically altered their worldview and their definition of success and their definition of hard work. And whatever someone does for the first week, it's generally what they do for the next week and the next 30 days. And what someone does for the first 30 days, it's what they end up doing for the next couple of months and then years after that. And a quote that I love is, "If the ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step you take just gets you closer to the wrong place faster," right? But if the ladder is leaning against the right wall, which is this course that you're watching right now, and starting your own YouTube empire, then each incremental daily action takes us closer to cashing in on the exponential compound interest that we are accumulating with every single one of our daily incremental actions. And get rid of distractions, focus on the blueprint, trust the process, and do the work every single day, and let's build an empire together. I'll see you on the next.